Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the City Chatter Podcast. I'm John Bernstrom, host of the City Chatter Podcast, public information officer for the City of Grand Forks. And in this episode I believe 49, you almost made 50, sorry. Rebecca Osowski, council member Ward 2. Welcome, Rebecca.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
Yeah, no problem.
It's been a while.
Well, okay, so I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. This is a kudos to you. We had a council meeting about a month ago and you weren't there, and we almost called in the National Guard. Because Rebecca Osowski never misses a meeting.
No, I try not to.
And as we sit here, you're almost 4 years into city council. I think that's your first miss.
I mean, I was trying to think about if I've ever missed before, and I'm not 100% sure, but I try to show up. That's what I'm committed to the citizens for. So showing up, being present.
Like I said, is the best ability is availability. Good job. But you know what? You also deserve a vacation every once in a while too. So you were doing something fun, but for a while there, we were just like, do we send a police officer to her house? Do we check? Does anyone have Life 360 on her phone?
I hope not. I hope you guys aren't tracking me that close. We went on a family vacation.
No, that's awesome.
Took the kids down to Mexico, swam with
Good for
dolphins,
you.
did that kind of stuff. It was a wonderful time.
Little vitamin D therapy?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I don't look that tan, but it was very nice. Dana actually did reach out, and he's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I told you I was going to be gone today, Dana."
No,
So,
that was something.
I try not to miss.
So we'll get into meeting stuff here in a little bit, but good for you getting a vacation. Good job.
Thank you.
You're on the airport authority, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
So I thought that the discussion regarding that airport road roundabout interchange, you've heard presentations at meetings probably more than other city council members have because of the airport authority. So the decision with the roundabout, here's the deal. I understand both ways. I understand the roundabout is cheaper and quicker. I understand probably the better solution is a diamond interchange, but it's more expensive and longer. As a council member making those decisions, hearing it a couple of times, thoughts on am I off? Like, am I missing something in there?
No, I agree with you on that. I understand that there are cost savings with the roundabout and that we can get that done a lot quicker. But I think ultimately there needs to be an interchange there. I think it's the best long-term solution. And I would hate to see us, kind of skimp on the project just to spend less money, just to have us maybe have to redo it in a few years. Ultimately, I think a diamond interchange is safer at higher speeds, and with the amount of people that are speeding around there, we're really not going to change that. And I do feel that the interchange is the best decision, but I do understand the time urgency and the cost savings. But ultimately, I think as a city council, we made the right decision in just supporting what the county wants to do. And so if that's what the county feels is the best solution, then I'm on board for that. So
I will admit, I've been with the city now coming up almost 20 years. I realize it does happen. This isn't unprecedented, but I was surprised to see this on your agenda. I'm like,
me too.
I'm like, DOT's asking input from the city. I suppose there's an airport connection that makes it within city limits, but that's a limited.
Right. And ultimately, it is like a U.S. highway, and it is kind of more maintained by the state and the county. And so ultimately, I do think it's their decision. And hopefully, whatever they decide, we move forward with quickly. And
move some dirt.
Right. Let's move some dirt. We have to do something. This intersection has been a problem in our community, not just the past couple years, but for decades now. And, every time something happens, then they'll, that's when, I think at first they put in stop signs, and then they put in a stoplight, and then the flashers, and none of those things seem to be working. And I really think that it's just time that we pull the trigger and, like you said, move some dirt and make the changes. Like I said, I would ultimately like to see the diamond interchange, but I think that's more on the county and the state to decide, and I support their decision, whatever it is. I mean, something needs to be done, and so I do support us moving forward in getting a project done, whatever that is.
Right,
so,
right. And like I think we all agree. Let's move some dirt.
We have to.
We got to do something.
Right.
Another thing recently that came before City Council was the rezoning of Ray Rich's golf course. As the golfer in the room, right, I was happy happy to see the golf course back open. I understand it's closing for the work we have to do with 42nd. I'm happy to see part of the rezoning is to maintaining that as a golf course. Now I don't live there.
Right.
I'm a golfer. I'm also excited for the other projects that are going on there. Again, I don't live there. That was quite a discussion, right? Quite a discussion.
Right.
What were you hearing within that discussion, whether it's from residents or just walking down the street?
You know, ultimately, when the initial project was first proposed, I could see why the citizens were upset.
The first rendition. Yes, I agree with that.
And so I really, give kudos to UND for going back and trying to make the changes to accommodate some of the citizens' concerns. I mean, ultimately, it is their property, and they do have property rights, just like the citizens do. And so I was happy to see them, really work together to come to this new project that ultimately got rezoned. And is everybody 100% happy? Probably not.
Including UND.
Right, including UND. But I mean, I think really when we talk about that project, we have to think about people's property rights. And it's not just the citizens there, it is the university. And I think that there were a lot of compromises on both ends. And so if the citizens really did want that to maintain a golf course on it, they would have to, give some leniency on other little portions of the property to build maybe what UND wants.
Now,
so the sweet shots in the apartment complex.
Along those lines, the golf course is closing this summer either way, because we're starting to dig a big hole in the road over there.
Right, exactly. And they are taking part of the property. So the property would have had to be redeveloped anyways.
Yes.
With taking it, the golf course would have had to been anyways, with them taking out that big chunk for the underpass. And so I don't know. Like I said, I know not everybody's happy with the rezone, but I think it was a good compromise going from where we initially started to where we are now and the project that was actually put in front of us. Now, I hope UND keeps up their end of the bargain also and puts what they stated they would. And I understand that now I have a different battle to fight with the pilots, but they're two different topics. And that's the thing. We have to talk about rezoning, and that's what we were discussing, and then we'll move forward and talk.
And frankly, see what they asked for. Who knows?
I'm not going to support any of it.
Right, but I mean...
but at this point, they haven't asked for anything.
They haven't asked for anything.
Right. So,
So we'll see what they asked for. Speaking, you mentioned a pilot. There was a discussion at a city council, at a county, at a school district level. There's some changes to what the tax incentive application policy from like a city council meeting standpoint. So there's going to be one big meeting. We're probably all going to meet at the O'Leary Center or something like that. Am I hearing that right? There's going to be a big meeting where the developer, frankly, pitches their idea.
Right. I ultimately disagree with us changing the process. But I did compromise. Like there were a lot of things that I was pushing back on, like having the county and the school board actually vote at these meetings. I disagree with that 100%. I think they should take it back to
which they are, correct?
Right. And that was one of the kind of compromises that led me to more support the ultimate change. Going forward. So, we'll see how it goes, I guess. And it's my understanding this is just for anything above a 5-year pilot that needs the county and the school board to vote on.
5 years and under, you guys can handle at a council level. Still have the discussion, still have the debate, but it doesn't have to go and ask for permission.
But at least, at least then the county and the school board can't come back and be like, we're not educated enough to make a decision, because that's the part that really bothered me, is these larger meetings came to be because the school board and the county were both coming back saying that they don't have enough information. So now that can't be stated anymore.
Right. Everyone's getting the same information at the same time.
Right. And it's just going to be more of an informational type meeting, and so I can get on board with that, because at the end of the day, we all need to educate ourselves and make the right decision for the community. And if this is, I guess, what they feel they need, we can see how it goes. But ultimately I disagree with it, and I think that they should have taken responsibility themselves. They have their own attorneys that can guide them down the right path, and so but we'll see how it goes.
And now it is only policy, right? You can change policy.
Right.
It doesn't work, fine. It doesn't work. I will say this again, by working with the city, we used to have committee of the whole city council meetings, and then it shifted and we got rid of committee of the whole. And then we had just 2 committee meetings that were Mondays and Tuesdays that added meetings, and then they all went to city council. And for a couple of years, and then changing council, like, I don't like that. And we went back to committee.
Right.
So I'm waiting for you guys as a council to change. Again, it's meetings and policy to change that. Right?
We'll see how it goes. We'll see kind of how long it lasts. I mean, I also don't have all day to spend in an informational meeting, so I guess we'll see how it goes with whatever the first pilot is that we use the new process for. I'm assuming Ray Richards.
Sure, that may be the first one. Who knows?
Right.
I will say this. I think it's okay in government, right? We always want absolutes and get it right the first time. I think it's also okay in government sometimes to say, hey, we're going to try it this way with the understanding that we have the right to change our minds.
Right.
I think that's okay sometimes.
Right.
I mean, zoning is a different thing, but in just like, hey, we're going to try it. Let's see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Right.
So I don't think, because there's no voting or anything like that, I don't think we're even obligated to show up, I don't know.
Well,
We'll see.
In theory, are you obligated to show? Then it's just not a meeting, right? You just need a quorum.
Right. But there's no
quorum.
voting.
Sure.
Voting there. So, I don't know.
For better term, it's an informational work session.
Right.
Yep.
And mostly I disagree with all of these pilots that are coming in front of us. And so, we'll see what happens, and we'll see how things go. But
I have a question with you on that
sir.
one. And that's your, this is not a criticism. I give you, right? You don't waver on that.
No,
right? No,
I
no,
do
and
not.
that's
do
fine.
not.
Mr. Buerker and the county commission doesn't waver on that, right? I know where you stand.
Right.
In a world where other communities have the ability to give pilots text, pick the thing, right? Is there a world, like, if everyone were on the same playing field, I would probably be leaning more on your side than the other, right? But the fact that you're kind of competing with other communities, which is tough, right? We're all in North Dakota, we're competing against each other.
Right.
That makes it tough. Do you think there maybe needs to be a change at maybe like state law so that North Dakota communities don't compete against each other, or do you like the decision still being made at a local level?
I really think that there needs to be some interpretation at the state level about what is actually acceptable on pilots is really what I would want to see, and make sure that all communities moving forward are using the same guidelines. Like, up until a few years ago, there weren't 20-year pilots being issued in the city of Grand Forks. And so I would like to know what changed from us only issuing 10 years and then now we're issuing 20-year pilots.
Okay.
I would also, I believe that right before they started issuing the 20-year pilot, Simplot was one of the last ones that received a 10-year pilot for that big freezer.
For the freezer,
yeah,
right?
For the freezer.
Simplots had different variations of pilot editions, stuff like that.
Right,
I think that was their last one.
Right,
Yep.
and I think, most of their pilots are 5-10 years, and I feel that that's acceptable. I feel that they got a 10-year pilot last time because they are an ag business and their primary sector. Now, I do have some concerns about us issuing pilots to even apartment buildings. I don't know if, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, I do not think they're considered primary sector businesses. And so I'm not sure if they even qualify for a pilot. I disagree with that.
And put me in my place. Please do, because I may be 100% wrong here. But I believe that it is the primary sector thing. That doesn't apply to pilots. I think that's only TIFs. I could be wrong.
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure in the state code it states that they have to be a primary sector business within, the tax incentive type law. My understanding, I guess,
sure,
I interpret the code maybe a little bit different than other people do. And so I feel that there should be, tax exemptions and then pilots, because a pilot is a payment in lieu of taxes.
It's different than a tax exemption.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And we're issuing a lot of these things. We're issuing tax breaks for up to 20 years. There might be a step down. And I guess I think of them as two separate agreements, because in order to have a payment in lieu of taxes, there has to be a tax break. Otherwise, you wouldn't need a payment in lieu of taxes. But obviously, we've had presentations on it, and that might not be the way that other people interpret the state law. But
Sure.
I would like to see it, be interpreted more at a state level, and maybe even discussed at next session on really how we're going to move forward with it, because I do disagree with it, and I know that a lot of citizens have a lot of other concerns. I know there's been pushback even in Fargo about some of these pilot programs or pilots being issued. So.
And I pose that question more rhetorical, but from the standpoint is I do think it's a state issue.
Right.
I do think it's a state issue, because Fargo trying to solve it, us trying to solve it, our cities are different. Our cities are doing different things. As a city government, Grand Forks financially is like, we can handle that 3%, no problem. Like that wasn't a big issue for us at the state. In Fargo, that was a big deal. Right. But both city governments. So every place is different, right? And it's a interesting thing. That's why I think some of that should be handled at the state level.
I think so too. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's getting it. As we move forward, it's getting a little bit more attention. And so I think that that's really great that, people are starting to stand up and actually ask questions about some of this stuff. Whoever's right or wrong, I don't really know, but I think it's great that people are getting more involved and asking the tougher questions.
No, so. Good job. It wasn't much going on at council last night.
No, not too much.
But questions that were raised, which I thought is very interesting. I'm an analytics nerd, right? And you had Mr. Schill with Praxis Strategies up there. I went to college with Mark Schill, by the way. One of the smartest human beings on the face of the earth.
Is that the MPO one?
They're consultants. He's a taller guy.
White hair?
White hair.
Yep, he was real tall.
Real tall. Planning ahead, what population growth, and is it 0.8%? Is it 0.6? Is it 1 point? Let's get beyond that, right? The intention of that is it's a planning document trying to, are we going to grow enough, to build this road in 10 years, right? That's the intention of what you're trying to come up with. So 0.8%, and I don't, right?
I did some research. I thought that was a fair number when I looked into it.
Sure,
so,
based off historical stuff and all that.
Yeah, just like looking at how much our population has really grown, even in the last 50 years. I mean, we're on a slight incline, but we're not booming. And so I thought 0.8% per year was fair.
Well, and what, in 5 years, you guys take a crack at this again? And if it's 1.5?
Right.
And this is, I don't have any numbers, but it's anecdotal, and I say this all the time. I moved here right after the flood in 97. Okay? 42nd Street, right? Which now we're putting an underpass under the railroad because it's so busy. South of Demers was a 2-lane road.
Right, I remember that.
Right, it was a 2-lane road. South of 17th was a gravel road.
I remember that.
With no traffic light down there.
That little house used to be like out in the country.
Out in the country.
Right?
And in my time of living here, that's one of our busier roads. So busy to a point now that we have to build a tunnel underneath the railroad tracks.
I'm excited about the underpass. So
yeah, that's kind of big news in your ward a little bit. Like that's connecting your ward to, fire stations, hospital, stuff like that. That's a big deal.
Is the emergency routes.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the reason why part of our city is cut off from some of those services during certain points of the day. I mean, I understand that, BNSF has the right of way or the railroad has the right of way, but I do think it's really important that our emergency services are able to get to that portion of town in a timely manner.
And I think that's important, because even from a planning standpoint of road construction, right? So like we had Columbia Road shut down for a while last year, and Washington shut down, right? It's a mess, but we got to get all those lined up before we shut one down for 2 years.
Right.
But Altru's planning is they then throw an ambulance up at the fire station there in the north end.
Oh, right by my
like that
house.
happens all the time, where they're just like, oh, we have a road closed for whatever reason. We're going to stage an ambulance here.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I guess I wasn't aware of that.
But so that those discussions go on. You get that underpass in there, and you now have a more consistent way north.
Right.
That planning maybe doesn't have to happen.
Right.
Right. Depending on what the situation is, right?
Yeah.
But those are things that happen, right? You get flooding and we close bridges. They throw an ambulance in East Grand Forks.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they do stuff like that. So it's I'm excited for that project. But yet I tell that 42nd Street anecdotal. I'm just like, has the city grown? I don't have numbers, but here's what's happened here. Like 32nd, I remember driving down 32nd, and Walmart was the only thing south of 32nd.
I remember that too. Or
Yeah.
even, what's the little nursery out there? The Shays Nursery?
Yeah,
that used to be like way out in the country, and now it's like in town.
Yeah,
So-
both Shays and All Seasons.
Yeah,
the reason they're there is because they had tree farms and they could be there because they were in the country.
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
now we're right there.
I know, that's crazy to watch it grow. I mean, like, I'm excited. I don't feel our population is as booming as we are just kind of moving more south, but because our population hasn't gone up significantly, when
I'm
I've
curious at
looked
the
into it.
next census. And because their census was done during COVID, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
I'm curious
that.
the next census, because since that time, Air Force Base, Grand Sky, UND,
Right.
we'll see what, Agristo's up and going by then. Just all these other things that the
Right.
city's been working on, what will kind of be in place?
Right.
And what does that do?
Well, let's see.
Right.
I
Yeah,
guess
we'll
we'll see.
see.
When does that happen?
2030.
Oh, that's the next one.
That's the next one. That's the
Oh,
next
wow.
one. Every
Okay.
10 years.
Okay.
Every 10 years.
I did not know that.
Yep. And then on top, all that we talk about growth, we talk about all this thing. Then that comes up the top, whether it's tax incentives, this kind of housing, right? There's a need for that, I think. And by need, I mean all housing, all the above.
I don't think
Condos.
we need any more apartments at this rate, but
Well, I'll say this: that's market driven. If they're not making money, they're not building.
well, I don't know. They're all getting tax breaks. So are they being subsidized by the taxpayer by not having to pay full taxes or not? Because we're being told that these projects can't happen unless they
Sure.
get tax incentives. So is that market driven or not? And a lot of these apartments that they're building are luxury. I don't know if I'd be able to afford to live in one of those apartments.
Somebody is.
Yeah. I mean, somebody is, but that's still not a reason to give them tax breaks. I disagree with that.
Tax
so.
break aside, they're
Right.
being built because somebody comes up and says, I think I make a buck with that. Now the tax break side of I can make more of a buck on that,
Right.
because of the
And
system,
that's-
right?
right.
And so set that aside,
Right.
There,
I would like to see more single-family homes in our
Sure.
community. I mean, I think duplexes are nice also.
that's why I say
but-
all. I'm gonna say every
would
type
like
of
to
housing you say, I'm gonna say yes to,
Right.
because I think we need it all.
I don't understand why people don't want to build like first-time home buyer type houses. I mean, I remember my first house that I bought. It was tiny. It wasn't more than 1,000 square feet. But I became a homeowner then,
Sure.
and I was
and then,
able.
then you can go to the next one.
Yeah,
And go to the
and-
next one. Yep.
Right. And I do not consider a home for $250,000 as a starter home,
Right.
in my opinion.
My first home was 120.
Right. My first home, I want to say I paid like $80,000 for it.
Yep.
And I mean, I made some money when I sold it and I was able to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you can't just expect some people, especially in a single income home, to be able to afford a starter home at
Right.
$250,000. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
And especially with interest rates right now, I don't know how some people do it. But at the same time, these apartments that are being rented, they cost more than my mortgage do. And so it's like,
Yep.
I don't know. I think there are a lot of things broken, not just in our community, but economically within our
Right.
country. And so I don't think all of that is like our fault or anything, like with the inflation.
It's the
It's
economic environment.
It's the
right?
system. It's
Yep.
the system. And so
to your point of I wish they would build more affordable homes,
Right.
I agree with you. I don't think they can.
right.
From the standpoint of just buying the lumper and pouring concrete,
I
we
know.
can't sell it for
Right. I mean, I understand that. So, like I said, I think it's a larger system issue, not just a Grand Forks issue.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
No,
yeah.
no, I get that. Boy, we covered a lot of topics. That was good stuff. That was good stuff. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Now, let's have some fun here.
Okay.
In our house,
Okay.
I'm the only, me and my son, like we like sports and all that stuff. But when it comes to Olympics, that is my daughter, my wife, we all sit down. We did it last night. We're like, Olympics are on. We watched it all night.
Oh, wow.
and I think part of it is it's these sports that we don't know any of the rules.
Right.
We don't know.
Bobsledding,
Right.
no one knows
I don't
the
know.
rules.
Were they
of
fast or not? I don't know. What did he get a penalty for? I have no idea.
Can you get penalties in
No,
bobsledding?
I think you can. Right. So, but we really enjoy it. So we're an Olympic
Right.
household.
Okay.
We look forward to it. It's
Okay.
something as a family we do together. So I can't speak to you. So I have some Winter Olympics, the trivia facts.
Okay.
Right. If
Okay.
you can get any of these, good for you, because I
I don't
couldn't
think
get
I
any of
can
them.
because I don't really pay too much attention. But
So Winter Olympics.
okay.
When was the first Winter Olympics held? We had this discussion in our house. None of us got it right. The
Okay.
first Winter Olympics. Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics.
Yep.
I'm gonna say in. I'm gonna say 1936.
Oh, you're pretty close. 1924.
Was I closer than you when you guessed?
Oh yeah, I went. Yep. Like 1924, it was in France.
Oh, okay.
Winter Olympics had to take a couple of years off during World War II.
Okay.
But
okay.
1924 is the first Olympics. In 1964, this I'm not
Okay.
even going to ask you this,
Okay.
but I found that Winter Olympics. It was in Innsbruck, Austria,
Oh,
and it was unseasonably warm. So
what did they
Innsbruck,
do?
they took their army, went up in the mountains, and hauled snow down.
Oh my goodness.
They did in 1964. They had to
That's
haul snow
crazy.
in.
That's
Yeah, I thought that was.
crazy.
I thought that was.
I think we have snowmakers now, though, where
Right.
they can blow,
But
like,
in,
just make snow.
in 1964, it's just like it's not cold enough. It's not.
Get some trucks.
How come it's not snowing? This is there's in hockey. There's men's and women's hockey.
Okay,
Right? So
okay.
this covers both.
Okay.
This covers both. The fastest 2 goals by one player was scored in 6 seconds. Scored 2 goals in 6 seconds.
Okay.
Who was the player?
Wayne Gretzky.
No, hey, that was very fair. It was very fair. But it's actually a local tie. Jocelyn Lamoureux did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jocelyn Lamoureux did
okay,
that. So
okay.
no, hey, Wayne Gretzky is right. That's fair enough.
Right,
Go after
right.
that. What else we got here? Oh, I found this one interesting. I'm a TV guy, right? I'm do stuff like that. When was the first Winter Olympics televised in the United States?
I'm going to say 1967.
Man, you're good. 1960. That's not right.
am
You're,
good.
you're you're way on. Like I would have said, like year 1. Right, you know, the
Right,
first
yeah,
one,
no.
but I thought they've always been on TV. And then here we go. Only one country has hosted both. Excuse me, not one country. One city
Okay.
has hosted both Winter Olympics and Summer Olympics. It happened recently.
Atlanta?
They didn't host winter in Atlanta.
Okay.
No,
Maybe they have mountains over there and they have
they
snow.
don't. They don't.
Canada, like British Columbia.
No, okay, that's a fair one. It's
Okay,
not. No,
okay.
Beijing, China.
Oh, wow.
Beijing,
okay.
China.
Okay.
Now, we just had Summer Olympics in Paris, France.
Okay.
Winter Olympics are going to be in France the next Winter Olympics,
Oh,
but
they'll
it's
be
not.
the second
But it's not
country
going to be
then.
in Paris.
Oh.
It's not going to be in Paris. It's going to be in the Alps of France. So
I always think
yeah.
it's interesting what they do with all those structures after they build them. You know, they kind of just
and I've read some interesting articles
Yeah.
on that countries used to just build their stuff right
And
then
leave it.
and then leave it, and now it's kind of gotten into those. They want these cities and places
Right.
to bid, and they're like, well, no, what can we use this long term? So there's only a few cities that can really host the Olympics because they either have the facilities already,
right.
or we're going to build a new stadium anyway. So we'll just Olympics, and then it'll be our football stadium type deal.
Yeah.
So like it's in Italy, right? I think they built speed skating, but other than that, it's facilities. Speed skating and hockey, but like all the mountain, like they're in the Alps, right? So
Right.
it's
But
just
I
there.
wonder, like, if I wanted to try bobsledding, where
Where do you
would
go
I
for
even
that?
go? You know?
I think in the United States now you go to Utah. I think you go to Salt
Okay,
Lake.
and they have
Right?
bobsledding there.
I
Okay.
think so.
I'm
And
gonna
then
try it.
Salt Lake is now they're going to host not the next Winter Olympics, but the Winter Olympics after
Oh
that.
wow. Okay. Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
no,
great.
like I
That'll
said,
be fun.
I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Well, you can educate me then,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't pay too much attention. Except for I
it-
saw the dog running around on the ski slopes.
Oh, there was a dog on the ski slope?
Yeah,
No.
just all running around, and they like switched camera views as they were trying to like catch this dog.
Oh,
it was
sure.
so cute.
I'm
So-
loving the coverage of Olympics and how they're using drones.
right.
It
those
was
drones go real
but it was
fast, too.
bobsled, and they had luge, and they had a drone right behind it,
Right.
and I'm like, that was an awesome view. of how fast and how quick it's shifting around. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Just think of how nefarious they could use those drones also going that fast and that quick flying around.
Sure, if your brain wants to go there.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Here's the deal. I'm a glass half full type of guy.
Oh,
so
okay. I'm always like,
You're a little half empty over there.
Right,
Yeah.
when I watch the robots doing backflips, I'm like, that's interesting.
You're scared of it, and I'm like, I wonder what else it can do.
Right.
Right. No, that's fair. That's fair. Rebecca, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
this
you
is
for
a very
having
good conversation.
Me. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
It was wonderful, so
That was
thank
good.
you. Yeah.
Rebecca Osowski, Ward 2 City Council member, episode 49 of the City Chatter podcast. You want to catch this episode or any other previous episode, go to grandforksgov.com/podcast. We'll catch you next time.